read a story. What do you guys see? What kind of animals do you see? Good. The story is called The Mitten. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. What's his name? Nicky. Good. At first, his grandma Baba did not want to knit white mittens. Who knows what mittens are? Mittens are gloves. Do you remember her name? Her name is Baba. If you drop one in the snow she worn, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens and finally Baba made them. After she finished, you said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. What is Nicky doing? Good. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Can anyone find a mitten? Where's the mitten? I think this is the mitten. A mole, tired from tunneling along. Who knows what tunneling means? Tunneling means to bury himself. Tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed himself inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. What was the mole doing? The mole was going inside the mitten. What do you guys see? How many animals do you see? A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then he saw the mitten and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. How many animals were in the mitten? Let's count. 1, 2. Next, the hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under the wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole, the rabbit were bumped and jostled. Well, who knows what jostle means? Jostle means to push and move. But not being ones to argue and covered with prickles, they made room. So the hedgehog squeezed his way in. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, who knows what talons are? These are the talons. They quickly let him in. So how many animals do we see in the mitten now? 1, 2, 3. Do you think the owl is gonna fit? Okay, let's find out. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. Look at the badger. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotted stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal will argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and budged too many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Who remember who Baba is? The grandmother. Good. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable at the top of the great bear's nose. How many animals are in the mitten now? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 animals in the mitten. What do you think is going to happen next? Let's find out. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whispers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten into the sky and scattered all the animals in all directions. What happened to the mitten? Did it break? On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. Where's the mitten? Who can find the mitten? I think that's the mitten. As he ran to catch his snow white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he had his new mittens. The end.